being in present time. Successful people have a habit. That habit is they are in present time. That means they're not thinking a lot about the past. They're not thinking about the future. They're focused on and thinking about where they are and what they're doing. They are paying attention. Most unsuccessful people do not pay attention. They don't have awareness of their surroundings. They're not cognizant of what's going around them. They're not aware of what's happening, who's around. Being aware, paying attention, makes you more alert, makes you brighter, and it keeps you in present time. For example, I walk into a restaurant. Walk into the restaurant, sit down, and my friend says, "Boy, I need to use the restroom. I wonder where it is." I go, "Oh, it's behind there to the left." "How did you know that? You've never been in this restaurant before." I says, "Well, we just walked in together. I scanned the restaurant, and I noticed it. I was paying attention. I was in present time." And the person sat down. This is a true story. The person sat down and said, "You just scanned the restaurant and you remembered it was over there?" I said, "Well, that wasn't very hard. I mean, I just saw the sign when I walked in. You don't have to be a genius, but I looked. I was paying attention." Then the person we're in a booth, and so he's looking at me. So he looks over my shoulder and he said, "Okay, tell me about the bar. There's a bar there when we walked in." I said, "Well, I can't describe it perfectly." I said, "But I can tell you that the stools have a red, looked like a leather or a vinyl cover on it. And there was a bunch of them, probably about 8 or 9. There was one person behind the bar. He was a guy. He had a bow tie on. There was mirrors behind the bar. Looked like they have a full array. They have a bunch of draft things there." He's looking, goes, "That's amazing." And he went on to ask me a bunch of questions. All successful people have this ability. The ability is to pay attention. The ability is to observe quickly and to process the information. Now, every brain is wired different. So some of you are just never going to get this adapt to being unbelievably quickly perceptive and observant, where you process all the information like you're some member of the CIA secret hit squad or something, or Mossad or the KGB. This is a trained skill, but only capable of being done by those whose brain wiring is set up like this. But all of you can definitely pay more attention to things. And this is a habit. This is a skill. Are you paying attention? And I'll give you an example of this. What I want you to do is, if you're listening to this, I want you to ask yourself the question: if you are wearing a wristwatch, or if you have a wristwatch, do not look at your wristwatch. Don't look at it at all. Maybe put it down by your side. Don't look at the wristwatch. And I want you to ask yourself a couple questions, because that wristwatch, if you're wearing a wristwatch, is an interesting piece of jewelry. Statistics show that people look at a wristwatch on average 2,000 times a day. 7 days a week, that's almost over 10,000 times a week. 4 weeks in a month, 40,000 times a month. You look at that wristwatch. So let me ask you a couple questions about the wristwatch. What's at the 12 o'clock spot? What's at the 6 o'clock spot? What's at the 9? What's at the 3? Around the dial, are there numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or are they Roman numerals? Or are they dots? Or are they dashes? Or is it blank? Are there any words on the face of the watch? What color is the face of the watch? Do you have a second hand? If you do, is it a sweep second hand, or does it go click, 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 click? What size is the big hand? And what does it look like? What shape? How about the small hand? All right, take a look at your wristwatch. Take a look at that wristwatch and see how accurate you were with describing the wristwatch. Some of you are probably amazed right now. All right, now put your hand down. Put your hand down. Put your hand down. Now tell me exactly, without looking at the watch, what time is it? Some of you thinking, oh my God. Yeah, you just looked at the watch. You see, you look, but you don't see. You're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. If you're in a room, I want you to look around the room, and I want you to find all the red things in the room. Now I'm looking around my room right now. I'm looking for red, and I can see the red markers. I see the red on top of the eraser. Look for all the red. I see a red sign on the stand over there in the studio. I'm looking for red. I see the red binder of the book over there. Look for the red. Look for the red. Oh, I see red things on my telephone. Look for the red. I see the red cover of my book. Look for the red. Look for the red. Look for the red. Red. Just red. Just red. Only red. Red. Okay, now close your eyes. And I want you to say out loud, if you can, anything that you saw that was blue. What are the blue things you saw? Did you see any blue things? Someone's like, oh, God, I wasn't looking for blue. Okay, open your eyes. Now look around and see the blue things. They're staring at you. They were right there all along. You didn't see them. You weren't paying attention. You got to be observant. This is a success principle. You're not going to learn. There's 5 minutes to learn, a lifetime to remember. We're going to go through this in level 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Believe me. But right now, I'm giving you something to consider, to work on, to think about. Paying attention, being aware, being present time. Don't be focused on the past, and don't be focused on the future. If you are paying attention and if you are in present time, you won't be coming up to me and telling me your story of woe, because that means you're not in present time. You're thinking about the past. You also won't come up to me and use the magic phrase, Kevin, what if such and such happens? If you are paying attention, if you have awareness, if you are in present time, you won't have the what if syndrome. What if? What if? But what if an earthquake happens? What if a tsunami happens? What if there's a nuclear meltdown? What if there's a one world currency? What if it goes to a one world government? What if the America gets broken up into several countries? What if the European Union comes to one country? What if you're living in fear? You're not in present time. You're not paying attention. You're not focused. You're thinking about what you don't want to happen. You will never succeed in life. You have to change that, and you have the power to. If you're not paying attention, if you walk into a room and have no clue of what's going on, or how many people are there, where's your mind? You need to focus. You need to be aware. Use your eyes. Look around. Pay attention. Be in present time. Where are you? Where you're right now. Be in present time. Get off of the what if syndrome. If you have the what if syndrome, you will be a failure your entire life. You can't succeed with the what if syndrome. It is impossible. What if that? What if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? What if this? You can't succeed. You can't succeed if you keep telling me your story of woe. You can't succeed if you keep telling yourself your story of woe. You can't succeed if you keep telling everybody you meet your story of woe. Hi, I'm Joe. Well, it's nice to meet you. You know, I almost didn't get here. I just lost my job and I'm really struggling financially and I'm trying to build the affiliate program and I can't get anybody in. I started my own business and it didn't work out. The guy I got involved with screwed me. You are a loser. Guess what? You can change and you can be the winner that you are. So change now. Do it. You want to succeed? You want to make it? Learn these principles. Many of you at this level.
All right, fam. We're going to start in 60 seconds. Less than 2 minutes till we start, fam. So spread the word one last time. Happy Halloween to everybody. I hope everybody's feeling good this morning. And we're going to get the call started in 2 minutes, fam. So spread the word, and we will get the call started in exactly 2 minutes, guys. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Are thinking, my gosh, how did I get to this level? How did I have the money to afford this level when I'm doing everything wrong? Because you're doing a lot right. You're doing a lot right. You're good right now. We're going to make you better. And with this information, you'll be able to observe other people and you'll have your aha moments. You'll have your cognitions and realizations, and that will make you better because now you're thinking, oh, wait a minute, that's the guy he was talking about. That's it. That's loser. I got it. Oh my God. I do that sometimes. And you'll start going, I see. I can see it around me. So I can see what not to do. Good. Now I know. And you get better and you're going to skyrocket to the next level in terms of your ability to create, manifest your dreams, goals, and desires. Does this make sense? You need to pay attention. You need to be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of your physical surroundings. Stop talking about your story of woe. Stop asking or saying, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if. If you have the what if mentality, you'll never succeed. If you're talking about the past, about all your problems, you are vibrating all those problems every time you tell the story, and you're creating more of it today. You must pay attention and be in present time. Be more aware of your physical surroundings. And here's a simple thing you can do to get you in present time and to get you paying attention. How do you do that? Real simple. Right where you're at right now. Maybe you're driving in the car, maybe you're home. Just look at something. Look at something. I'm going to do it. You can do any item you want. Look at something. Desk. Touch the desk. This is a desk. This is a desk. Telephone. And I'm touching the telephone now. This is a telephone. This is a telephone. This is a gray telephone. Coffee cup. And I'm picking up the coffee cup and I'm feeling it. This is a coffee cup. I'm feeling it with both of my hands. Microphone. Microphone. This is a microphone. This is a microphone. I'm touching it. Just touch physical things. Call them by name. And you can even say, this is a desk. It's made of wood. It's a dark color brown. This is a piece of paper. Obviously come from wood pulp. It's white. I'm touching it. It's got a red line and blue lines. Touch some things. That'll bring you back in present time. Pay attention. Be in present time. Get off the what if. And stop talking about the past and negative. You need to be aware. Number 6, you need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to be aware of what's around you. Look at things. Note them mentally. I see the clock. I see the window. I see the wall. I see the coat. I see the door. I see the whiteboard. I see my hat. I see the computer screen. I see the telephone. I see the coffee cup. I see my books. I see the carpet. I see the chair. I'm looking around, being aware. I'm looking around at the people. I'm looking around at the place. I'm noticing the time of the day, where I am. Be aware. When you're driving in certain countries, in order to get your license, they actually have real driving tests. And in order to get your license, let's say for a taxi, in certain countries, you get into the taxi cab with the instructor, and as you drive, the instructor is looking at your head, and he
Man, I kind of want to listen to that whole audio, man. That's crazy. All right, let's get this rocking. Let's run this up. Let me grab this right here for you guys. All right, let's go. Let's do this. Here we go. Perfect. There we are. Grand Rising, familia. Hope everybody is having a phenomenal day today. I am so blessed, so grateful to be on this call with all of you guys. Started right on time. Grand Rising and happy Monday. Happy Halloween. Hope everybody is having a blessed morning, feeling good, feeling blessed, okay? Feeling aligned, all is well, and it's getting better. I expect miracles and I get miracles. Everything works in my favor. I'm just super blessed, super grateful to be here with each and every single one of you guys. Every day that we get a chance to grow, every day that we get a chance to elevate is always a pleasure, and after a great weekend here, actually not just a great weekend, after a great week here in Chicago, it just feels so good to, you know, today's actually my last day. I fly out today to San Francisco, wrapping up the tour, fam. Just been on tour literally almost 2 months now. And it feels so good to be on the road, living, hotel to hotel, house to house, couch to couch, just making it happen, man. You got to think about it, dude. I've been on the road since September 14. I've been on the road, like just really, really running it up, and we are we really doing some amazing, amazing, amazing things, and it just feels so good to know that so many of us are growing, so many of us are elevating, so many of us are becoming the best versions of ourselves, and just seeing the world and the experiences that we've had, and how much I've learned over the weekend with Kevin Trudeau. It's just amazing. So we are excited, excited, excited. Make sure you guys are safe out there during Halloween. Make sure you guys are staying connected. I'm gonna be flying today, so it's gonna be something amazing, and we looking forward to it. I have a great topic today for us, and I know that you guys are gonna, get a lot of value from it. But before we get right into it, let's type on what some of the things that we're grateful for this morning. What are you grateful for this morning? I am grateful for God. I am grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my mom, my dad, my little brother, my goddaughter Dariana. I'm extremely grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for this hotel that I'm staying at. I'm grateful for my team and all the leaders within the organization. I'm grateful for my brother Isaac, taking care of me while I've been out here in Chicago. He's the man. He really did take care of me, bro. So I appreciate you, my brother. I'm grateful for my team, all the leaders in the organization. Grateful for the food that I get a chance to eat, the freedom that I feel. Grateful for my mentor, Matt Rosa, Jason Brown, Alex Morton, Darwin Lopez, Matt Gribby, Sean Murphy. I'm extremely grateful for my sister, Jasmine, and Sana. Sana, to be honest with you guys, Sana was the one that helped me with this trip out here, to Chicago. She was the one that actually told me to sign up and come to the event. And she even, gifted me the ticket to come, and just so grateful for her, and her desire to want to make me better is amazing. How amazing of a person she is. So Sana is one of a kind, and she's the reason why I'm in Chicago and why I've had the experience that I've had while I've been out here. So just overall super grateful for everybody who is, a part of my life that wants to better my life and wants to improve me in each and every single way. And we're grateful. We're grateful. We're grateful. We're grateful. So today's topic is, okay, do you really know? Okay. And the reason why I wanted to do this topic, do you really know, is because I had a very, very powerful day on Saturday. Yes, Saturday. Saturday was a powerful day for me because Saturday we went to the event, and when we were at the event, a lot of things happen, and a lot of things tend to happen in your favor. And for us, like we always speak, all is well, everything always works in my favor. We arrived at the event, we had a gala. It was like a dinner where you got a chance to sit with a bunch of random people, because I rarely knew people there, but I kind of knew people there. No, this is how it works. So I rarely knew people there, but a lot of people knew me because I had introduced a lot of people to Kevin Trudeau, which is amazing. And I realized that there were over 30 people at the Kevin Trudeau event that are not a part of my company but anymore, or were a part of the company, but they were a part of Mornings with Nano. And they recognized me, and they was like, bro, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Like, people that are like legit successful at what they do, like people that I know from 3 years ago, people that I went on tour with 3 years ago, were like high level people in Chicago in this business. And I was able to connect with a lot of people. But to tell you, I arrived at the gala. We got there a little bit, not late, but we showed up on time. And at these events, if you're on time, you're late, because these people are like straight. Like, like if they say they're going to start at 8, they start at 8 on the dot. Like, not a second more, not a second less. So like it's not like, when you go to these events and it's 8 o'clock and people are just strolling in and half of the room is empty. Like, no, like it's 8 o'clock and everybody's sitting down, pen and paper ready to go and take notes. Like, that's how they all move, because these are all extremely professional, conscious people. So I got there at exactly like 8:01, and everybody was already sitting down. Like, there was barely any seats left. And I walked in with Sana, and me and Sana are looking around. There's literally barely any seats available. I'm like, damn, we're gonna stay sitting down for dinner. Like, I mean, we're gonna stay standing up for dinner. This sucks. And they're trying to organize people, and they're telling people, hey, raise your hand if you have an open seat next to you. And me and Sana are walking around, but there's only one seat and we need two. So we're walking around, and KT's on the stage. Kevin Trudeau, he's on the stage, and he's kind of like, letting everybody know, like, hey, look, there's a seat over here, there's a seat over there. And then in one, he kind of looks at me, but doesn't look at me. And he's like, we have some more seats over here, and this is where the money's at. This is where the big money's at. And I'm like, that's where I'm going. So I walk over there and I see that there's a table open, and then there's this guy there. And I sit next to this guy. Yeah, it was at the gin event. And I walk over to this guy. We sit down, me and Sana sit down. And then we realized that the guy that I was sitting next to is one of the higher level guys. Like, he's top level guy. He's been doing it. He's been a part of the platform, not a part of the platform, but he's been studying this information for over 7 years. And it's funny because when I sat down next to him, I started asking him a lot of questions. Like, once I found out that he was a higher level person, I started to ask him so many questions. You guys know how I am, super curious, super curious. I'm a very curious person. If I sit down next to somebody that has the results that I want and that is successful, I'm gonna ask him so many questions. And you know what he tells me? He was like, before you came and sat down next to me, I was asking God, and I was asking the universe to, please, like, I was asking them, like, with a deep desire, I was asking, please sit me down next to somebody that I can have a good conversation with. And that he said, sit me down next to somebody that I can have good conversations with, and that I can pick his brain as well. And then you came over, and it was like, this is an instant connection. So he was manifesting me, and I was manifesting him. So it was kind of like a connection. And we start talking. The vibration is amazing. And we start talking. And I asked him a ton of questions. And I want you guys to kind of get an idea of the questions that I asked him and some of the answers that I got, because they're so powerful, right? So I sit down next to him and I start to get to know him. And his name was Spencer. business owner, level 8 guy, like really, really next level stuff. And, one of the first questions I asked him, and I was actually talking about this last night on the call to God. I sat down and I asked him, and when I realized how successful how successful he was. Okay, I need to come up with questions. So Sana's sitting right next to me. So Sana's she's in her mind. She's like, okay, she sees me thinking. She's like, what questions are you gonna ask him? So Sana, it like kind of like read my mind because I'm there, and she kind of like caught me in the mindset of it, because I just kind of like asked some basic questions like, hey, how are you? Where you from? Blah blah blah. But Sana kind of realized like, yo, this guy's successful, and then wants to ask him questions. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about questions and questions, and then like I'm doing my best to think of very, very intentional questions. And Sana, obviously, if you guys know, there's 7 questions that you want to ask somebody when you meet with somebody. There's 7 intentional questions, and Sana sends them to me. She finds them and sends them to me. She's like, yo, I know these questions. So those questions were cool. The questions that I asked him about those, which is, what was your greatest lesson? What are you learning right now? What books are you reading? So on and so forth. But those questions weren't what I needed. You understand what I'm saying? Like, those are very basic questions that, yes, they can give you answers to certain things, but I had already had those answers. I needed questions that were intentional, that were about me, Nano, like what was I currently going through, and what were some of the struggles that I was facing. So I sat down and I thought about, all right, Nano, what is one of the problems that you've had? Okay. And one of the problems that I've had, in the past is I've had a problem with getting what I wanted, but keeping it. So I'm good at getting what I want, but sometimes, and not all the time, but sometimes I have a problem with keeping what I ask for or what I receive. So I don't know if anybody else has had that problem here. If anybody else has had that problem, put a 2 in the chat box if you've had that problem where you're good at getting what you want. Okay, so you're good at manifesting that goal, but then it's difficult for you to keep that goal. Okay, that's been one of the struggles that I've had in the past. This is something that I've struggled with in the past. I'm good at getting what I want, and it's sometimes difficult for me to keep it. And this relates with almost a lot of things, guys. I want you guys to understand this. This could relate with a lot. This could relate with your business. This could relate with money. This could relate with, a relationship. You could be good at manifesting the guy or the girl that you want, and then you're bad at keeping the girl that you want, or the guy that you want, or just in general. And I asked him that question. I said, yo, I told him, I'm like, bro, I have an intentional question I want to ask you, and this is me being vulnerable with you. And I was very vulnerable with him very right away, because I just knew that he had all the answers I was looking for. And I told him, I said, when you're working towards a goal and you finally achieve it and you finally manifest what you want, okay, how is it that we are able to keep it for longer? Like, what's the difference between keeping it and, staying with it? Because I feel like I have a problem with getting to the goal. No, I sorry. I said I'm really, really good at getting the goal, but I have a difficulty with keeping the goal. That's what I said to him. I said, yo, I'm really, really good at manifesting the goal that I want, but then I have a difficulty with keeping the goal. And he asked me, he said, how do you feel when you manifest the goal? And he said, are you excited to create more, or are you afraid to lose it? That's what he told me. He said, think about that really quick. He said, when you manifest what you want, when you get what you've been asking for, are you excited to create more, or are you afraid to lose it? And that was the answer I was looking for, because I sat down and I thought about it and I looked back and I said, I've been afraid to lose it. Yes, I manifested it. Yes, I was grateful, but the first feeling that I had when I got it, it wasn't excitement to create more. It was, man, what if I lose this now? And that was something that was an answer that I had been searching for a long time. That was an answer that I had been searching for. I don't know if you guys had been searching for something like that, but I had been searching for that answer for so long because I always wondered why, how come? I get it, and then I will lose it. So I was really, really good at getting it. Nobody's better. If it come when it comes down to getting it, Nano's one of the best at it. But when it comes to keeping it, Nano may not be the best at it. It was something that, I was struggling with, if I'm honest with all of you, right? And when he answered that question for me, I don't know if you guys ever felt like a weight taken off your shoulder, or let me see. I don't know if you guys ever felt like a major like breakthrough right there and then. But right there and then, I just knew that that was the answer I was looking for. Like energetically, like the way that the answer was given to me and the way my body felt after the answer was given to me, it felt like it was like, man, it was like I got it. It was like, aha, I figured it out. I figured it out. It was like everything that I needed was all right there. And then, what's the beautiful thing about it is I turn around and Sana's right there. And she's like, yeah, I'm right here, bro. I'm writing it all down. And Sana's right behind me, writing all the questions down that I'm asking. She's writing down everything that he says. Cause I grabbed my phone. I'm like, man, hold up. Cause I was so into the conversation I forgot to I forgot to take notes. So I grabbed my phone. I'm like, hold up, let me take notes on this really quick. And then I turn around. She's like, bro, don't even worry about it. I'm already taking notes. So Sana's behind me taking notes the whole time. And she sees me like kind of like struggling to remember the question that I asked. She's like, bro, I got it. I already did it. Don't worry about it. She's taking notes. Just she like keep asking questions. I'm right here. And she's writing down all the questions, like all the questions, and she's writing down all my answers too. Like it was unbelievable. And when he gave me that answer, it was big for me. It was super super big. And then I started to ask more questions, and I started to ask and ask and ask, and I asked him this other question, and this is the one that kind of leads to the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is, do you really know? Okay, do you actually know? Okay, nah, yeah, Sana's a real friend for sure. I was like, yo, this is what it was. So I was sitting down, and I can't remember where the conversation was. And I just want to share this experience with you guys because it was an unbelievable experience that gave me a lot of answers that I feel like we all need. And I started to ask him about certain topics and certain things that happen in life, and the way people don't take advantage of the information, and how people think that they know but they don't really know. And that was kind of like the conversation that I was having with him. I'm like, yo, people think that they know this stuff. They feel like they hear it once or twice and they know this stuff, but people really don't know. And then he gave me an example. He gave me the car example. He says everybody knows of a car, but do they really know a car? That's what he said to me. He says everybody knows of a car. Everybody's aware of a car. It has four wheels, it drives. Everybody is aware and knows about a car. But do people really know a car? And I'm like, what do you mean by that? I was confused. I was honestly confused because think about what he's saying. He says many people know about a car. Okay, they're aware of what a car is, but do they really know a car? And I said, okay, I'm confused. Can you break it down? He said, all right, people know about a car. That means that a car is, a certain car. They know that, it has four wheels, four doors, whatever it is, right? But he said, do people know a car? Do people know the dimensions? Do people know the engine behind the car and how it works and how to build a car from scratch? And do they know the dimensions of the wheels and how big the rims are? Do they understand the transmission and how it works? Do they know how the mufflers and how big the muffler hole is? And he started to break things down, and he was like, that's knowing a car. People know about a car, but do they really know a car? Because you see, most people think that they know things, but they just know about things. But have you dove deep into what it really is? Okay. And he explained it with depth of vision. I was like, okay, I get it now. This is depth of vision, right? Because an acorn, right? If we see an acorn, most people would say acorn is food for squirrels, right? If I were to show all of you guys an acorn right now, let's say this was an acorn, this piece of paper right here, and I'm like, all right, guys, what do you see when you see this acorn? Okay. Most people who are not aware and who don't have any depth of vision, they would see, oh, that's food for squirrels. But if you say food for squirrels, you fail the test, because at the end of the day, that's the obvious answer. Okay. Now I'm gonna ask you guys, and I want to see, because I've asked this question before, and I know some of you guys know. So if you know the answer, don't even answer it. I just want to know who doesn't know. So, quick question. When you see, if this was an acorn right here, what do you guys see? If I were to show you an acorn right now, if this was an acorn, what do you see? Okay, I want to see what you guys say. Okay, I see it's a seed for a tree, a seed. It's a seed from an oak tree, a tree. If you know the answer, do not type it, because then you're gonna give it away, and it's not fun like that. Nothing. I see an acorn, a tree. Okay, so those are good. Actually, I'll be lying to you. Those are bad answers. Okay, a tree is not a good answer. Why? Because that's the obvious. Okay, if I were to show you an acorn, okay, and I ask you, what do you see? you know you only see the obvious. You see food for squirrels, you see a tree. That's the obvious. That's what you see. And you know what it is, but have you had a depth of vision with it? You see, an acorn, what I see a forest. I see houses being built off of the wood that all of these forests provide. And I see houses all over the world, and I'm able to see money being printed, and tree houses being built. I see communities, and big, 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 big communities being built. You got to look deep into the picture, not just the acorn, because the acorn is just the food for squirrel. But what if you were to look deep into that acorn? Okay, the acorn goes into the tree, right? Trees can go into forest. Now you have a forest. That forest, all that wood now can be used to build houses and communities, and so many other things. You got to have depth of vision with things. You got to see past the obvious. You got to dive deep into things. And this is one of our problems. We are good at staying at the surface level with things. We're very good at staying surface level. We're good at, okay, I learned this and I got this. And he said, you see, you think you know manifestation. That's what he told me. He said, you think you know about manifestation, but you're still at the surface level with manifestation. He said, you're still surface level, believe it or not. He said, you really, you know about manifestation, but you don't really know manifestation. That's the key. You know about manifestation. You know that you can manifest a goal. You know that you can, put your mind to something and it'll come into reality. But you don't really know manifestation. You don't know the science behind it and how it started and the energy and how it all vibrates and what happens in the background. And there's just so much to it that you still don't understand. And when he started to put that into perspective for me, he made me question a lot of things that I thought that I knew. And I'm sure that this is making you guys question how much you actually know. Because we think we know things. We think we got it all figured out. But what I realize is that successful people, they have depth of vision with everything that they do and with everything that they know. They dive deep into these things. They dive deep into a specific topic. One specific topic, they go as deep as they can. They go down to the very, very root. We only see the surface. We only know about those things, but we got to go down and deep to find out the root cause, the root foundation of where it all comes from. And this is so important. This is so important for us to understand. And when he put that into perspective for me, now I'm excited to dive deeper into a lot of things. I'm excited to dive deeper into leadership. I'm excited to dive deeper into spirituality, into building that relationship with God, and to my business and understanding network marketing on a deeper level. I want to understand things now on a deep level now, because I feel like for the most part I've been really good at understanding things on a surface level. So I'm good at I can understand things, and maybe even a little bit, even maybe a level one below it. But I gotta get deep now. Because he said when you get to those deep levels, your understanding, your awareness increases so much. And by law, because your awareness, increases and everything else increases, your income naturally increases. And this is so key. What you know that you don't know, and then the things that you don't even know that you don't know. That's fire. But it's important that we get this. And this was so key for me. And I was able to understand it on a deep level. I really was. And then I asked him some more questions. Type a 2 in the chat box if you want to hear some of the other questions that I asked him, right? Because I wanted to make this call kind of like more of an experience of what I was able to get so that you guys can get the experience with me, like if y'all was there. Okay. And this is just a reminder for all of you that so far we've talked about when you manifest what you want, are you excited to create more, or are you afraid to lose it? That was one thing that we've talked about so far. Another thing we've talked about is about depth of vision, having that depth, right? Being able to see things way deeper than they are, getting down to the root cause. Because remember, we know about things, but we don't know things. Because knowing is actually knowing the root cause. So I had to take a step back, and now I'm not even gonna be saying that I really know things until I've gotten down to the root, down, until I know it for sure. Because it's true, I know about these concepts. I know about manifestation. I know about leadership. I know about it, but I don't really know though. And I'm telling you guys, you don't really know either. You do not really know. You know about it, but you don't really know, because knowing is having that deep root cause, right? So that was another thing. I think it was important that you guys understood that. Um, then I asked him a few other questions, which were key, and I talked about access to mentorship. This was another one. Listen to this one. This one was powerful. So I was asking him, I was like, yo, how is it that we can get people to value mentorship more? Because I'm in a business where I'm a mentor a lot, and I have people that come for me to mentor. And I wanted to know, how can we get people to value the mentorship more? Because there's certain people that take mentorship for granted. A lot of people take mentorship for granted. And it's as a mentor, it's kind of like, it's almost, how do I explain it? It's disappointing in a way for us as mentors, because we know what we want to teach people. We know that we want to help people, but some people just take it for granted. So I asked him, I said, yo, how can we get people to value mentorship? He said, you can't get people to value mentorship, because the problem is that people don't value themselves. And if people don't value themselves, they don't deserve your mentorship. That's what he said. He said, people don't value themselves. People don't value themselves. So how are they going to value you? They don't value themselves. They don't take themselves serious. They don't want it as bad as they say that they want it. They don't. They don't want it. They can tell you that they want it that bad. They can tell you that they want to grow. They can tell you that they want to elevate. They can tell you that they want to make a change in their life. They can say it, but it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to actually live it. He said they don't value themselves. So it's impossible for them to see the value in you. If they valued themselves and they knew their value and how valuable they were, they would value you instantly. They would see your value. So the only people that are going to value you are the ones that find value in themselves. Those are the only ones. He said, pay attention to those that value you. Pay attention to those that actually appreciate your mentorship. And those that don't, let them be. Because at the end of the day, guess what? They'll learn through the process of life. And I needed that answer. I needed to hear that because it's true. Sometimes we get so frustrated with people who don't value our mentorship and people who don't take our mentorship serious, when in reality, that's out of your control. And that goes for all of us on this call, because I know all of you guys are also mentors and leaders of your organizations. That goes for all of us on this call. You cannot be frustrated. You cannot get mad if people are not seeing the value that you provide, because it's out of your control, because they don't value themselves. They don't. People who don't value themselves cannot value mentorship. Always remember that. People who do not value themselves cannot value mentorship, because they don't know the value that they have. They don't know the power behind the value that they have. They don't realize it. And by the time they realize it, it's already too late. It's the truth. It is the truth. People just don't know. And it's unfortunate, because there's people that have everything that they want in their hands, but because they don't understand how valuable they actually are, or they don't value themselves, they can't take advantage of what they have access to. And this is why I tell people, yo, work on yourself, have a morning routine, grow in certain areas of your life, take yourself serious, because these are real things. Like, guys, I want you to understand, some of you on this call right now, all the answers that you're looking for are right in front of you. You just don't realize it, because you're so clouded with the problems that are happening in your life. You're so clouded with challenges. You're so clouded with so many things that it's so hard for you to even see. It's so hard for you to even see what's in front of you, because all of the problems that are happening. But if you were actually to value yourself and you were to take the time to read a book every day, listen to an audio every day, do your morning routine every day, meditate, journal, read, do all of these things on a day-to-day basis, you have no idea how much your vision will clear up and how much more you would value the mentorship and the access that you have. All the answers that you're looking for are right in front of you, guaranteed right in front of you. They're all right in front of you, believe it or not. Every single answer you're searching for is right in front of you, but it's hard to see it when nothing is working in your favor. It's hard to see it when your life is filled with challenges. It's hard. And you can't control the value that people see in you. You can only control the value that you put out. Oof. Don't let that one go over your head. You cannot control the value that people see in you. You can only control the value that you put out. That's key. You cannot control the value that people see in you. You can't control that. You can only control the value that you put out. Because the way someone sees the value in you is by them seeing the value in themselves. How can someone see value in you if they don't see value in themselves? You see how that works? It's almost like the mirror effect. They got to see it in themselves before they can see it in others. So some of us may need to see more value in us so we can appreciate more of the value that we have around us. Because you never truly realize how valuable the people around you are until you become more valuable. You never really know what you have until you become that person, right? For example, let me give you guys a perfect example of this, okay? For my mothers on this call, how much more do you appreciate your mom now that you understand the sacrifices and the things that your mom had to go through to raise you? How much more do we appreciate it now? Right? We appreciate it so much more. Before we would just see it as, and I'm not a mom, so I can't even, I can't even speak on this. I could just kind of have an idea of it. But for my parents, think about it. Growing up, we would just see it as, oh, that's what they're supposed to do. They're my mom, they're my dad, they're supposed to take care of me, they're supposed to, provide for me, they're supposed to put food on the table. We didn't know. And remember, some of our parents are, for me, as an example, my parents were immigrants. They came from nothing. They came here, to create a better life for us. So, my mom went from being an accountant in the Dominican Republic, working at, the police. She was in, my mom was an accountant in Dominican Republic, and she was like the one in charge of, all the finances and everything of a police station in the Dominican Republic. And she was super successful. My mom was very, very successful and everything. And then she came here, and then she's a cashier, she's a cashier register at Fine Fair or something like that, at a grocery store, because her education over there didn't mean nothing over here. And it makes sense why I'm so good at math now, because my mom is, really, really good at math. But when I sit down and think about it, you know, and I'm not a parent yet, but I had this conversation with Janelis, who just became a mom. And she was telling me, she was like, bro, you don't understand how much I appreciate my mom now. Like, I didn't really know the real sacrifices that my mom went through, and like the day-to-day things that we are not promoted out there. We're not out here promoting our whole lives, but like the little things, the waking up in the middle of the nights, the 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 babies getting sick, and the hospital runs, and just all of these things that we don't even talk about as mothers because it's our job. But you know it's hard, and it's difficult, and it's a lot. And it's so much that people don't really get a chance to see. And now that I'm going through the process of it on a day-to-day basis, it makes me appreciate my mother 100 times more. She's like, I appreciated my mom and I loved my mom before this. But now that I'm a mom, like, it's a whole new game. It's a whole new game. So how does that go side and side with, what I'm talking about? You know, we don't value sometimes the family or the people around us as much as we should, because we've never taken that time to value ourselves. And now that, you know, Janelle's, as an example, I'm using her as an example because I had this conversation, and it's not that she didn't value herself in the past, but now that she's valuing herself more as a mother and she's embracing her journey and where she's at, you know, she values her mom, her parents so much more, because she found the value in herself. And this is so important. And these are such key things that we need to understand. And facts, I want to give a shout out to all the moms out there, all the parents out there. Not just, I don't want to single out moms and dads, but because, man, I can't even imagine. It's a lot. It's a lot of sacrifices that you guys got to make, and your whole world, stops, and you guys make it all about your kids. And I want you guys to know that it doesn't go unnoticed, man. It doesn't go unnoticed. And if nobody has, recognized you, if nobody has appreciated you, if nobody has, told you thank you, let me be the one to tell you thank you for your sacrifices. Thank you for, the late nights, the early mornings. Thank you for, giving your last meal to your kid, and, stopping eating and making that sacrifice so that there could be food on the table for your kids, and that rent should be paid, and for the fact that you're keeping that roof over the head and everything. Because, man, trust me, I can only imagine. And for my single moms out there that are doing, it by themselves, shout out to you guys as well. Shout out to the dads as well that are making it happen. I know dads, one of my brothers, he has 6 kids. One of my brothers, family to me, has 6 kids. And I see the sacrifices that he makes, and I see the mindset that he has, and I see how much he does to make sure that he can keep food on the table for all 6 of his kids. So it's amazing. And I'm not a dad. I can't relate yet. Eventually I'm gonna have a little nano and a little nana running around. But as of now, all I can do is appreciate, my boys who are dads, and I can appreciate my friends and my, the girls around me, the women around me that are moms, because it's important. And I want you guys all to know that I appreciate you guys, and thank you for all your sacrifices. Thank you. And we all appreciate you. As a matter of fact, can we type thank you in the chat box for all the moms and dad? Because, these are things that go unnoticed. These are things, it's easy for it to go unnoticed. It's easy for us, to not show appreciation because it's expected of you guys. It's like you're expected to be that. You're expected to provide. You're expected to keep the roof over your head. You're expected. And sometimes those things can easily be unappreciated, because I know what that's like. And I never want you guys to feel unappreciated. I want all moms and dads to know that I appreciate you, and we all appreciate you. And you know, thank you for all the sacrifices, everything that you do, because it's super important. It's key. Okay. But to continue with what we were talking about here, and that was one of the questions that I asked, and it was about mentorship. That one was good. Another thing I asked them that was really, really good, and I think that you guys can relate with this a lot, was I asked him, I said, how can I stop myself from falling back into the old version of myself? Because I told him, I was like, there's so many questions I asked him. Like, I asked him, how do you keep your vibration high through everything? There was a bunch of questions, but I'm giving you guys the questions that, gave me breakthroughs. And I asked him, I said, sometimes, as, we're on this journey, it's easy for us to, as we're growing to become the best version of ourselves, we become and we grow and we elevate. But sometimes somebody said you were on point with the questions. Yeah, I was super, super intentional because I was thinking of, remember, when I think of questions, I think about, okay, then what am I going through? Right? What am I going through? Okay. And let me report this real quick. So what am I going through and how can this guy, give me the answers that I'm searching for? So I asked him, okay, I wrote it down right here. Let me see. I said, how can I stop myself from falling back into the old version of myself as I'm becoming the new version of myself? That's the exact question that I asked him. I asked him, how can I stop myself from falling back into the old version of myself when I'm growing to become the new version of myself? And he was so like surprised with these questions. Like he was looking at me and he was like, bro, he can tell that he was like, yo, this kid is special because I was asking him such intentional questions, like very, very intentional questions. This was his answer. He said, bro, I want you to know that I am not perfect at this. He said, I'm also dealing with this as well. But he said, the way you stop yourself from falling back into the old version of yourself when you're growing to become the new version of yourself is that you got to realize when you start to fall back into that version of yourself. Okay? I want you guys to understand this is very, very important. You got to make sure that you realize when you fall back and why you fell back into it. So this is what he said. Listen to this. So the first thing is recognizing it, like Millie said in the chat. So for example, you have to know, so we are all working to become the better version of ourselves. We all know that. But you have to recognize when you start to go back into the old version of you or that old version of, those old habits of who you were. And you have to recognize it and you have to become aware of what was it that created the feeling to take you back there. He said that's the key. He said, what was it that created the feeling? What was it that triggered the feeling that caused you to go back to the old version of you? He said you have to be aware of that because the only way that you can stop yourself from going back is by being aware of what is causing you to go back over there, because there's something that triggers you to want to go back over there. So you got to make sure that when it happens, you recognize it, you become aware of it. And now that you know what is causing you and what is the feelings, what are the triggers that are causing you to go left, to go back to that old version of you, that's what's gonna help you stop going back. What is it? Is it because for all of us is different? Because remember the question, how can I stop myself from falling back into the old version of myself? And the key is realizing it, recognizing it. But he said it's in the feeling though. What are the feelings that you get? What are the triggers? What triggers you to want to go back? Pay attention to those triggers, because when you become aware of the triggers, when you become aware of the feelings and what's causing you to go back to the old version of you, then now you can defeat the enemy. Most people are not aware of what's causing them to go back to the old version of themselves. So it's easy for them to fall back. But when you become aware of what's causing you to fall back, it's easier for you to choose to pick the best version of yourself. Now it's easy because think about it. If, for example, I'm trying to think of something that could relate with all of us. Let's say there's a certain thing that happens that causes us to go back to the old version of ourselves. Let's say, what's a trigger? For some people, for example, let's say you want to stop smoking, as an example, right? A trigger could be, your friends inviting you out. A trigger could be, the feeling of wanting to get, have that high again or whatever it is. But remember, the new version of you, you don't want to be a smoker no more. You want to be smoke free. Okay. But for some reason, you know, you realize that every time your friends invite you out, you end up smoking. That's a trigger. And or for example, whenever you start to feel lonely or you start to feel sad, you want to smoke a blunt, for example, to kind of release the pain in a way. Okay. Or when you feel stressed, like, you have to realize what feelings and what situations is what causes you to go back to that old version of you. Okay, you got to realize it. Now, I'm using that as an example because I don't know what situations we all go through, but I want to give you guys a situation that is relatable and that everybody can see and understand when I say it. Okay, so a smoker is a perfect example. If you're working to become somebody that doesn't smoke anymore, okay, a trigger can be friends inviting you out, or, when you get feelings of stress or loneliness and whatever it is, and it causes you to go back and do it. Okay. Now, if you become aware of it and all right, yo, every time I go out with my friends, we end up smoking, you need to know that you just got invited out. Is recognizing it, being aware. Okay, yo, I just got invited out with my friends, because I'm not saying not to go out with your friends. You can go out with your friends, but it's being aware that, yo, I'm going out with my friends, but I got to remind myself that I'm not going to smoke while I'm there. And it's being disciplined enough and having strong enough mindset that when you do feel lonely, that when you do feel stressed, that when you do, feel overwhelmed, that you don't go to smoke and go back to the old version of you, that you actually find a new way to deal with the stress and the overwhelmness and the sadness that you feel. It's about finding that new way. And I think that that's very important for all of us to understand when it comes to letting go of the old version, because I've talked about this on Mornings with Nano. We have to starve the old version of us and only feed the new version of us. That's how it works. We got to starve that old version enough until that old version of us dies. It has to stop. Okay, it has to stop. We have to starve that person. We don't care about that person no more. That person is no longer a part of us. Are we grateful for that person because of that person we are here today? Yes. But we no longer want that person in our life. That old version of us, we don't want it anymore. We want the new version of us. We want the positive, high vibrational, grateful, God-centered person. That's the person we want, because that's the person that we want to grow into. We don't want to go into the old version of us that was negative and, selfish and didn't believe in God and, all of these things, because that version of us is not going to help us. We got to feed the new version of us. And that's really the key. That's really the key. And he gave me that answer was so needed right there for me. That answer was very, very, very needed for me. And I'm glad that, you guys are also getting value from this, because these are the things that sometimes people tend to forget and they don't understand. We got to be able to let go of those old versions of ourselves. We got to be able to see past all these things and know the difference between the good and the bad. That was another question. Let me see. Type a 3 in the chat box if you've gotten value so far from the 3 questions that I asked that gave me a lot of value. Like, I got so much value from these questions. So much value. And I have more too, like about building relationships. Like, I got more. I got so much more about building relationships and how it works. This is another one that I asked them. Here it is. I asked them, I said, what if in your life, there's certain areas in your life that you are great at. So this is what I was asking him. I wrote it down wrong here, but this was the intention behind the question. So I asked him, I said, sorry, I got stuck for a little bit. I'm trying to think about exactly how I asked the question, but I asked him, I said, what if, in all areas of my life, everything else is going great, business is great, this is great, but then there's an area in my life that's not going great. How am I able to align everything so that everything can be going great? So, just to kind of give you guys an idea, my intention behind the question was to align everything in my life, right? Because at the end of the day, we want all areas of our life to be good. We want our business to be good. We want our family to be good. We want our finances to be good. We want, our relationships to be good. We want, everything in our life to be aligned. So my question for him was, what if all the areas in my life are good, but one, how can I align them all? Because for me, sometimes I have a lot of areas in my life that are good, but usually one is lacking. And I wanted to know how I can get that one that was lacking to align with the other 4 or 5 areas in my life that were amazing. Because it's the truth. Sometimes, you can have everything going right for you, but then there's just this one area in your life that's holding you back. For some people, it can be your finances. For some people, it may be your family. For some people, it could be your business, your team, your relationship. And I asked him that question because I needed that answer. I wanted to know what he thought about it. And I wasn't very specific with it. I just kind of wanted to know on how I can, you know, get the energy that I have in all the other areas in my life in the one area in my life that's lacking. And this was his answer. Let me take a sip because my mouth is getting dry. He said when you want something, you got to focus on it. You got to you got to you got to understand that in order for you to fix an area in your life, there has to be a focus there. Okay? And it can't just be something that you just want. It has to be something that you desire truly. You got to desire it truly. It can't just be something, I just want this money. I just want this business. I just want this team. I just want this amount of money. It has to be something that you truly desire. Okay, because this is what he said. Listen to this. It's so powerful. He said, have you ever, in his exact words, he said, everything that you do at 100%, do you accomplish it? Yes or no? Right? And I'm gonna ask you guys this question, right? Guys, just think about this question. Everything that you've ever given your 100% to, were you able to accomplish that goal when you gave it your 100% focus, attention, like everything that you had into it? Were you able to accomplish what it was that you wanted when you gave it your 100% all in, whatever it took, right? And I said, yes. He said, if you haven't been able to accomplish what you wanted in that area of your life, is because you're not 100%. Because if you were 100%, if you were 100% locked in, you would be succeeding in that area of your life. Because you just told me that every time you give your 100% to something over a period of time, you accomplish it. Every time, right? I said, yeah, every time. Every time I give my 100% to something, I usually get what I want. And that's usually how it works, he said. He said, so if you're not getting what you want in that area of your life, it's because you're not 100%. You're not all in. And I said, yep, that's true. And that is so true. Think about your businesses, guys. Think about your finances. Think about family. Think about relationships. Think about God. Are you actually 100%? You got to ask yourself these questions, because if you're not 100%, you're not going to win in that area. And how we do one thing, it's how we do everything. So what tends to happen is that can easily bleed into the next level, into the next area of your life, and in the next area, and the next area, and the next area. And one And one area of your life can destroy the other areas of your life. And that's what sucks about that, he said. He said, that's why usually you want to have these things aligned. Because if you're not aligned in business, that means you're probably not going to be aligned with family. If you're not aligned with family, you're not going to be aligned with God. If you're not aligned with God, you're not going to be in alignment with your finances. If you're not in alignment with your finances, you're not going to be in alignment with your relationship. It's all going to bleed into one another. So he said, Nano, if you're doing great in all these areas and there's one area that's not going so good, I want you to know that eventually that one area in your life can start to bleed into all the other areas, and it's going to hurt you. He said, unless you're really good at separating it. He said, you have to have a special ability of being able to separate it. And I was like, what do you mean by separate it? He said, you have to be really good at being able to not be affected by that area in your life. Like, you have to be really good at it. Like, you got to be good at not allowing that specific area in your life not to bleed into others. But he said, not everybody's that good. Not everybody's that self-conscious or aware or can do that. And I said, luckily for me, I can do that. I'm really, really good at that. I can go through something, but I will never allow it to come into the other areas in my life. He said, that's a good thing to have. But he said, I just want you to know that it's harder, though, when it's like that, because even though you may be good at separating it, it still makes it hard for you to do everything else, because you know in the back of your mind subconsciously that area in your life is not good. So it still makes it difficult for you to really be as effective as you want to be in the other areas of your life, because guess what? There's that one area in your life that's not where you want it to be. And subconsciously, it could be eating up at you. And it's not allowing you to be the best in your business, not allowing you to be the best in your finance, not allowing you to be the best in your relationship. It's not allowing you to be the best here. So it's important that all of us understand that, because I asked those questions for me, yes, but I know that some of us needed these answers as well. And I hope that you guys are getting value from all of these questions that I asked this individual, because I was thinking today, I'm like, man, what do I talk about on the call? And I said, you know what? Let me just tell them about my sit down, my experience, that I had with the guy, because it was an incredible experience. It was such an incredible experience. Like, and you know what's funny? There's so much more. Like, I picked this guy's ear for like 2 hours. I still have to go back and listen to the recordings, because I couldn't even write all of this down. I was sitting there and I was in his ear. Like, it was like he was on the only person and there was 8 other people at the table, but I only built a relationship with him. And I feel bad that I did that, because I completely disregarded everybody else at the table but this one guy. And I was in his ear like this, nonstop, 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 nonstop. So yeah, but that's it though, right there. We'll end it right there, because I got to start getting ready. I got to check out in 30 minutes, because I got to head to the airport soon. But family, I hope you guys got value from this call. I hope that you guys were able to gain as much value from the conversation that I had over the weekend as I did. Okay, because those were very intentional questions. Yeah, now he'll never forget me. Never ever. He told me that too. He was like, bro, I'll never forget this day. He said, you remind me so much of myself. He said, you remind me so much of myself, because I used to be the same way. And he was like, you know how real he is? He said, you think that you're getting value, but I'm actually gaining more from answering these questions than you are from me answer. He said, I'm getting more from answering these questions than you are from receiving my answers, because I'm teaching this again and I'm listening to my answers. And even I needed to hear the things that I'm telling you. So he was, bro, he took my number. We connected beautifully, bro. Like, he wants to know, like, if I need any help, he gave me his phone line. You'll call me, text me whenever. Never met this guy, but I'm hungry, and I just want you guys not only to get value from the questions that I asked him. I want you guys to get value from the way I went about the situation. Okay. I want you guys to get value from that as well, because I didn't just go up to him and was like, hey, how do I level up? Or ask some regular question. I actually asked them very intentional questions. And I think that you guys need to learn the importance of asking intentional questions. He said, bro, you're going to be very successful because unconsciously you're already doing all the things that we get taught to do at a millionaire level, which is ask very intentional questions. And I love what Vivian said in the chat. She said the quality of the question determines the quality of the answer. And that is so true. The quality of questions that I was asking determined the answers that I was getting. That's why I got so many amazing answers. Honestly, if I'm truthful, that sit down was worth all the money that I've invested into this tour. That sit down. When I look back and I look at how much I've invested into this tour with flights, hotels, Ubers, food, event spaces, this, that sit down paid for all of that. That sit down right there. Literally. Because I needed every single one of those answers that he answered that night for me. Every single one. It was everything that I was searching for. And there's questions that I asked him that I won't even ask you guys. I won't even tell you guys on this call because they were so vulnerable. But that just goes to show that you got to be intentional with the things that you ask. And when you get access, take advantage. Take advantage. Because if I didn't take advantage, I would have never saw him again. I could have sat down next to this guy and just said what's up to him and never asked him a question. And look, the answers, like I said, they're always right there in front of you. But if you're not looking, if you're not intentional, you would miss it. This just goes to show, guys, some of you have all the answers and everything you want, sometimes right in front of you. But because you're not taking action, because you're not aware, because you're going through so much and you feel so down or whatever, sometimes you don't see that everything that you need is right there in front of you. You just need to open your eyes more. And that's the truth, fam. So with that being said, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. This call was more of a conversation. It really wasn't a training. I don't really like to be repetitive with just trainings over and over and over again. I like to switch it up sometimes, and I like that we were able to, share this moment together because I wanted to reshare this moment because I needed to hear the answers again because I was just so in the moment that I didn't really get a chance to get all the answers, but I gotta re-listen to the audio on my flight to San Francisco and just run it up. But if you guys got value from this call, put a 444 in the chat box. 444 in the chat box. Thank you guys so much. I'm so blessed, so grateful for this family. Thank you guys for listening to me. Thank you guys for just following the journey. I'll see you guys in a few. I'll see you in a few, Isaac and Jess. I know Jess, we're gonna go grab some lunch. I'm excited to go see London House here in Chicago before I get on my flight. And I gotta pack real quick. I got 30 minutes to do this, but thank you guys so much. I love you guys to the moon and back. I really, really do. And quick prayer before we go. Quick prayer before we go. All right, everybody, bow your heads and let's pray. Father God, thank you so much for blessing us with this beautiful Monday morning where we get a chance to wake up and learn more about our purpose and become more of a better version of ourselves. We're understanding things on deeper levels now. And a lot of the questions and a lot of the answers that I was able to receive over the weekend have brought massive awakening and massive breakthroughs to all of us. And we are just so thankful for the way that you use other people in our lives to speak the word and to speak the answers that we need, because these were answers that we were searching for months, and you just gave us all those answers this weekend. And it's just so amazing how we can share these experiences on a day-to-day basis and learn so much from each other and have all this wisdom and all this guidance, all thanks to you, God. So I want you to know that we are just all extremely thankful from the bottom of our hearts for everything that you do for us, for the way that you guide us, for the way that you protect us, for the way that you heal us from all past experiences, for the way that you forgive us for the things that we do that we shouldn't be doing. And there's nobody better than you, God, and we are just so thankful. We ask for a month of November that is filled with nothing but quantum leaps, love, abundance, blessings. Our hands are open to receive the harvest that you have for us in the month of November. We know that November is going to be a month to remember, and we are just so excited to receive this harvest that you have for us, Father. We are just so grateful, and we just want to say thank you ahead of time for all that you have in store for us. So we love you so much. We appreciate you so much. Let's go out there and have a great day today, and let's have a great start to the month of November. We love you and we appreciate you. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. 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 Okay. Amen. So anything I can do to help, please let me know. But that is the end of the call. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to jump on today's call. For those who don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is at Long Live Nano. My Mornings with Nano Instagram as well is up there. So follow the Mornings with Nano page as well. Okay. We also have a journal out if you didn't know about it. Okay. We have an amazing journal right now that everybody's loving. Everybody's getting a lot of value from it. You can actually grab it on Amazon. It's phenomenal. And I'm going to drop the link right here for you guys right now. Give me one sec. Where is it? Here it is. You guys have not purchased your Mornings with Nano journal, please do. It's super dope. It keeps all the notes organized and together. A lot of people are getting value from the training. Some people have came up to me and told me, "Bro, I'm running trainings based off of the value that you have inside the journal." I saw people with their Mornings with Nano, gold cards, and just so much value from everything, guys. So, I would really appreciate the support. They're less than $25, and you're able to keep it all together, and it's important. I see that somebody's going through something. Harold 211. I don't know, Harold, if there's anything that we can do to help. Maybe message me on Instagram, and maybe we can connect you with somebody to help you out in any way. We can send you some money, Cash App. I got like $20 in my Cash App I can send you that somebody sent me yesterday. So message me on Instagram if there's anything I could do to help. If you need food, whatever it is, fam. But with that being said, guys, that wraps up today's call. I love you guys so, so much. I appreciate you guys so much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's going to be 6 a.m. San Francisco. Yeah. Going to be 6 a.m. San Francisco. And if you are in the San Francisco Bay Area, let me know. I'm going to be dropping event. I'm going to be dropping the event flyer and Eventbrite so you guys can come to the event in San Fran, fam. Love you. I appreciate y'all. And I will see you guys all tomorrow on Mornings with Nano, San Francisco edition. Love y'all, fam. Let's go.